showing every step. It was very good.
Oh, did you ever, every step? Oh, no. Not the last step. You didn't show them the last step, did you?
Yeah, I did that fair run the other day. Yeah. Showed them how good it is to have friends.
You didn't show them how we had to cut all the new stuff apart and re-engineer. Yeah. That's crazy.
That was up at Lourdes?
Yeah. You know where they put the new sidewalk over to the grotto?
Mm-hmm.
That fire hydrant was too low for them to
Oh,
finish,
okay.
so
Right.
we went up there and raised it.
Raised it up a little bit.
Yeah, we raised it that much. Yeah, and that little spool's $1,200 to put in.
If you ever donate anything.
Or not to put in, but to buy or whatever.
18 times.
I just did. I'm not gonna bring that up. On a roll.
Here we go.
Regular meeting in Washington, Missouri, City Council, Monday, August 4th, 2025, 7:08 PM. Bear,
Here.
Briggs,
Here.
Coulter,
Here.
Hydrich,
Here.
Hotmeyer,
Here.
Packey,
Here.
Hepsel,
Here.
Solentrop. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will all the council members answer if they have or have not read the minutes of the council meeting dated July 7th, 2025? Bear,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Coulter,
Yes.
Hydrich,
Aye.
Hotmeyer,
Yes.
Packey,
Yes.
Hepsel.
Yes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Bear, second by Hackridge to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Correction,
passes.
those should have been the July 21st meeting minutes instead of July 7th.
So noted.
Good catch.
Said 21 on here.
Approval and adjustment of agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Patke, second by Hydrich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Priority items, mayor's presentations, appointments, and reappointments. Parks and Recreation Commission appointment.
Dear council members, I herewith submit for your approval the following for appointment to the Parks and Rec Commission. Russ Volmert, term ending August 28th. I don't know if you guys know Russ or have read his resume. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Privileged to have a person of his character and background on the on that commission, so.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Patke, second by Coulter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, fellas.
Citizens' comments.
If anybody in the audience would like to come up and make a comment about something that is not on the agenda, so please come up to the podium and state your name and your residence and your address.
How you guys doing? Mark Andenoff. I live at 313 Emily Lane in Autumn Leaf subdivision. My wife and our property shares the property line of Highlands Phase 2 development, and this is what we've been going through since back in February when construction started. First off, once construction started, I go to the March 10th board meeting and talk to Charles about concerns I have. After the meeting, we briefly talk about my concerns regarding the development's drainage along the property line. He assures me the development included storm sewers and inlets along the property line and the existing flow patterns would be preserved. We set up a meeting that Friday for further discussion and review of the preliminary plat. I left feeling optimistic. That Friday, on March 14th, I met Charles in his office. We reviewed the preliminary plat submitted for annexation. The preliminary plat clearly showed storm sewers and inlets along the property line. But right before leaving, Charles indicated the developer had just submitted plans to the city. He opened the submitted plans. only for us to see the developer now eliminate those storm sewers and the inlets along the property line. My property was now vulnerable. I was assured the city still had leverage over the development since the final plat had yet to be approved. I left the meeting feeling cautiously optimistic. Hours after leaving the meeting, storms came through the area, the tornado in Villa Ridge. The next morning, I noticed erosion on the northwest corner of my house that in 18 years had never occurred. I called Charles, let him know that my worries are now validated. We set up a meeting for the following Friday at my house. That Friday, March 21st, Charles came out to my house, observed the erosion, and we further discussed my drainage concerns with the development. He again assured me he was working with the developer and the city still had leverage since the final plat had yet to be approved. Charles left and I remained cautiously optimistic. More storms came through on March 29th that further eroded the corner of my house and started dumping silt into my yard. Silt and runoff were also deposited in my neighbor's pool at 314 Emily Lane. The basement at 2209 Aniston Drive flooded. Now I'm very concerned. That Monday or Tuesday, I talked to KJU's project manager, Ben Ruther, while he was working on the neighbor's pool. I showed him the erosion that had started occurring on my house. He told me they were doing what needed to be done with the silt fence. This left me extremely concerned. The following Wednesday, on April 2nd, another storm comes through. I was home. I took pictures and videos of the runoff coming through my property from the Highlands site. It was quite disheartening. I sent an email to Ben along with a link to the pictures and videos. I copied Charles, Chad, and Jeff. The email included a description of what my property was now experienced since they had removed the field ditch and the terracing that previously protected my property. Yes, this email may have been a little more subtle, but now people are getting flooded, and it was all predictable and avoidable. I've yet to receive a response from Ben 4 months later. I am now miles past concerned. 2 days later, Friday, April 4th, another storm is in the forecast, and I am being told that the developer is making improvements. Those improvements only include redirecting the site runoff and silt away from my house and into my backyard. Now I feel like a hostage in my own home with the fear of water getting in my basement. With no real answers for weeks, I submit a stormwater compliant on the Mayor's Action Center page on April 28th. The next day, I receive a generic response from the mayor saying he would investigate it and get back to me ASAP. Then for the next month or so, there's no movement by the contractor to intercept or divert the runoff leaving their site and entering my private property. There are no further solutions being offered by the mayor or Charles. With each storm, more and more silt fills my yard. Now I feel defeated and alone. Then on Wednesday, June 4th, more storms come through, and the development's runoff deposited a significant amount of silt on my property. Charles came out to investigate. I emailed him and thanked him for checking in on my property and indicated the development's stormwater plan still falls short. Charles responded the next day saying he's working with the developer to contain the sediment and silt runoff. Still no mention of intercepting the runoff. Now I'm defeated, alone, and frustrated. Over the next 2 months, much of my lawn has been overtaken with various noxious weeds, including Johnson grass. I texted Jeff last Sunday and asked him if he could stop by and take a look at my lawn. He stopped by 2 days later. He's a good man. He makes me feel like I'm wanted in this community. Last Wednesday, Jeff reached out to Kurt in hopes of finding a solution, but I still felt defeated, alone, and frustrated. Then Friday, this last Friday, 4:06, 4 months after the first time reaching out to Understall, after everyone's gone home from work, he decides I'm gonna call and finally reach out to him. Leaves me a voicemail, 4:06 on a Friday afternoon. Okay. Saturday morning, 9 a.m., an excavator starts clearing the brush at the end of Emily Lane leading to the development, only feet from my son's car. I ran out of my house to let them know there's a car parked on the other side of the brush they can't see. Then Kurt himself jumps out of the excavator, runs down the embankment towards me and onto my private property, yelling he didn't see the car and he called me last night. After initially telling him to get off my property, I invited him back on to see what has become of my lawn. He took no responsibility, just threw out his credentials of who he is and continued to berate me. He told me the hell he will make of my life. I again tell him, get off my property. He tells me he is an agent or officer of the city and he is on an easement. I needed to call the police to defuse the situation. I stand before you in fear, defeated, alone, frustrated, financially burdened, and not remotely at home in the city. I invite all of you to stop by and see what has become of my property. This will likely be my norm until the completion of the development. Please don't let this happen to other residents.
What's your address again, sir?
313 Emily.
313 Emily Lane. Thank you.
Anyone else like to come up to the podium? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Brandy Hagedorn. I'm Mark's neighbor, 309 Emily Lane. And I myself came, I guess it was back in March, and expressed some concerns about the development. And I stated that, progress is great, but we also need to consider the existing homeowners and their properties. And I think Mark did a great job explaining what we've been through. But it seems to me like the city kind of washes their hands when there's any kind of progress and forgets about the existing homeowners and what they have to go through. Everything Mark stated has been true. The runoff is unbelievable. As his neighbor, our yard has never seen this amount of runoff, and we will continue to experience this as they continue to develop. It's just complete disregard for the existing homeowners. So I know everyone's super excited about all of the progress and the new homes, but I think it's completely forgotten about us existing homeowners. And most of those in our subdivision, they are afraid to speak up because of the developer and his tight relationship here with the city. And that's a real shame when you have someone threatening a homeowner. And I'm just concerned why someone wouldn't reach out and try to be the best neighbor they could and try to avoid these problems. When they started with Sophia, there was runoff issues. So I would ask all of you, when there is any type of development, to think of the neighbors and to make sure that you do your part with these developers and that they are true good neighbors and that the existing properties are not impacted. No one's home should have been flooded. No one's yard should be washing away. We shouldn't have to deal with this. And to me, Charles has been great, very supportive, and offered some resources and some advice. But overall, it seems no one cares because it's a great new development. So just wanted to speak my piece about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Brady.
Thank you. Anyone else? Next, Sherry, please.
Ordinances and resolutions. An ordinance of the City of Washington, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest for certain municipal officials.
Bear.
Introduced by Bear.
This is the annual ordinance that you pass or whatever for all those that are in that position. I think it's mine, Sherry's, a couple others. Or is it just finance?
It's, you, Sully, and Mark.
Okay. Anyway, do it every year.
Questions, discussions, guys? Second reading.
An ordinance of the City of Washington, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest for certain municipal officials. Bear?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Patke?
Yes.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Pepsel?
Yes.
Heidrich?
Aye.
Coulter?
Yes.
By your vote, ordinance 7A passes. B, please.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a CMAQ congestion mitigation and air quality agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the High Street and Highway 100 intersection improvements project CMAQ 6400633.
Holtmeyer.
Introduced by Holtmeyer.
This is the CMAQ agreement with MoDOT for the intersection improvements at High Street and Highway 100 we discussed at the workshop. Any other questions?
Second reading.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a CMAQ congestion mitigation and air quality agreement by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the High Street and Highway 100 intersection improvements project, CMAQ 6400633. Bear?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Petke?
Yes.
Holtmeyer?
Yes.
Pepsel?
Yes.
Heidrich?
Aye.
Coulter?
Yes.
By your vote, ordinance 7B passes. C, please.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the City of Washington, Missouri to accept the quote from Chris Offenberg Ford for the purchase of a 2024 Ford Expedition SSV response vehicle and amend the 24-25 budget.
Patke.
Introduced by Patke.
Good evening, council. As discussed in the operations meeting, this is a replacement of the vehicle that was totaled out in a vehicle collision.
Further questions? Second reading.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the City of Washington, Missouri to accept the quote from Chris Offenberg Ford for the purchase of a 2024 Ford Expedition SSV response vehicle and amend the 2024-2025 budget. Bear?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Patke?
Yes.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Pepsel?
Yes.
Heidrich?
Aye.
Coulter?
Yes.
By your vote, ordinance 7C passes. D, please.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the City of Washington, Missouri to accept the quote from Public Safety Upfitters LLC, PSU, for the removal, purchase, and installation of emergency equipment and amend the 2024-2025 budget.
Heidrich.
Introduced by Heidrich.
This is the upfitting of the vehicle that was just purchased for the removal and installation of the emergency equipment that the city already owns.
No further discussion? Second reading.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the City of Washington, Missouri to accept the quote from Public Safety Upfitters LLC, PSU, for the removal, purchase, and installation of emergency equipment and amend the 2024-2025 budget. Bear?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Patke?
Yes.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Pepsel?
Yes.
Heidrich?
Aye.
Coulter?
Yes.
By your vote, ordinance 7D passes. E, please.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the acceptance of a proposal by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Visu Sewer of Missouri LLC for the installation of cured-in-place pipe, SIP, and other related services.
Heidrich.
Introduced by Heidrich.
Again, this is the lining of the line down on Front Street, and also a line in Stonecrest and some stormwater that we discussed previously.
Further questions? Second reading.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the acceptance of a proposal by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Visu Sewer of Missouri LLC for the installation of cured-in-place pipe, SIP, and other related services. Bear?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Patke?
Yes.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Pepsel?
Yes.
Heidrich?
Aye.
Coulter?
Yes.
By your vote, ordinance 7E passes.
Commission, committee, and board reports, preliminary plat approval, Super Gas and Food Mart, Inc.
This is the preliminary, and then there'll be a final plat for subdividing the lot that is Taco Bell is on right now. So they're in Washington Square Shopping Center. This was approved by Planning and Zoning. It also required a variance, which the Board of Adjustments approved for a narrower than 26-foot fire lane. It's the existing fire lane that's out there. It goes down to 21 feet in one area for about 140 feet, so that was approved variance. They also have noted on the plat a shared parking agreement to get the parking required, so. Just meet all the other setbacks and requirements for lot sizes.
Questions, discussions, guys?
So I'm a little confused. This is just correcting some stuff that we don't have right now?
No,
It's not its own lot right now.
yeah, it's leased ground that they've had a lease in place for years. And now they're looking to go ahead and acquire the ground, so they're no longer the lease, they'll be the owner of it.
Subdivide off just that small portion that Taco Bell's on.
So that's why the fire lane is now required? Or
Yes,
fire
because
lane-
the subdivision code kicked in and your zoning code kicked in. I've talked to Chief about this a little bit. In the past, the previous chief wanted those type of codes, not only in the fire code and building code, but he wanted them also in the zoning code. Well, when you do that, well then, if you want to vary from that, you got to go to the Board of Adjustment then. We've talked about the possibility, he's got much more greater latitude with the fire code, so he can go ahead and grant those in those situations and not have to get the board together. So one of the things we're talking about is just going to go ahead and remove that portion, maybe some other ones from the zoning code.
It's, once again, it's just really hard to read these in the packet. It's
There's a lot going on. I apologize. I don't know that there's an easier way to get
just to
that.
scan in or whatever we're
Right.
doing here is tough, so I get it. You get a subdivision going on, so now we go into subdivision rules, so we're looking at, okay.
But the fire lane is actually next to the drive-through lane, is that right?
It's basically considered the roadway that you go around the parking lot.
Okay.
So essentially what the discussion was there is to mimic what's on the other side of the highway. So if you look at Washington Crossing, for example, the storefronts, so just mirror what's on the other side, the storefronts, there's a fire lane in front of what was Big Lots and whatever other, the pet store and whatever other stores are in front of there. So there's a fire lane through there. When you come back on the other side, along Burger King, Arby's, so on and so forth, the other ones, that fire lane basically is the drive lane there, and then there's individual parking lots. The fire lane, there's an access into those lots, but it doesn't completely circle those lots. And so what we're doing is looking at just mirroring that on the other side as the development in this particular instance, as that development builds out and things change, buildings torn down and rebuilt, they'll have to bring it up to the current code, put the 26-foot fire lane in. But as it stands now, we've been dealing with this for 40 years, so it's just a matter of getting it through to make it work. But there's no requirement to go all the way around the building because of the size of the building.
I don't have any issues with it, it doesn't make any, we're trying to put a 21-foot fire lane in a parking lot. Is what it essentially.
There's a driving path through there. If you look through there, it's actually got islands, and so that's a north-south thoroughfare, if you will.
It's a public access easement is basically what it is. That's where the public that's going to the shopping
So
center
you
can
basically
go.
have a big loop in there, Jeff, that kind of goes around it based on the way the islands are made. And we have other spots that have choked down the fire lanes before, and we issued those variances. And then as those are adjusted over time, we fix them as they come about.
Make a motion to accept into the minutes?
Second.
Motion by Bear, second by Briggs to accept. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 8B, please.
An ordinance approving the final plat of Washington Square Shopping Center, Plat 2 in the city of Washington, Franklin County, Missouri.
Hydridge.
Introduced by Hydrich. Further questions, you guys, before we go? Second reading, Sherry, please.
An ordinance approving the final plat of Washington Square Shopping Center, Plat 2 in the city of Washington, Franklin County, Missouri. Barrett,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Patke,
Yes.
Holtmeyer,
Aye.
Capsule,
Yes.
Hydrich,
Aye.
Coulter.
Yes.
By your vote, ordinance 8B passes.
Mayor's report.
Two things we focused on and voted on tonight, you guys, are the slip line that Kevin described. That was all paid by the half-cent capital improvement sales tax that is in place right now. And so if something like this would happen in 2027, if that tax is not passed, then we'd be struggling to find money to pass that. As well as the CMAQ grant that Charles talked about. That's a $2.4 million project that, if the grant goes through, and it looks like it is, we're gonna pay less than $500,000 for almost a $2.5 million project. So, and again, that is paid right now, or pardon me, it will be paid by our present half-cent transportation sales tax. Those two tax issues that we're gonna have on the ballot. So, it makes it crystal clear to me, and I hope everybody else, how much we need that. Need that tax passed, so, thank you.
City Administrator's report.
The only thing I have to report is we will have a budget workshop on the 18th, the next time we convene here. That'll be starting at 6 o'clock prior to the meeting. I'll have an executive summary of our preliminary thoughts on the budget. Typically, it talks about wages, new positions, major projects that we've got coming out of those funds, specifically like what the mayor just mentioned. So, that's it.
Council comments.
I don't know who exactly this should be directed to, but maybe Chad as well as Darren. And I know we got a couple guys that help out with the fair here for a lot of years. I know the fair is big and everybody loves the fair coming in town, and it's all about the fair this week, but we also need to remember the small business owners. This new route that the fair parade took yesterday, I would like to know why the fair parade did not end down at the fairgrounds, why it ended at the Elks. Why don't we run it? This is something I guess we need to address with the chamber, but we need to have that run further down. We have a business owner at the corner of Grand and Fifth Street that lost probably $1,500. Now, $1,500 just yesterday. $1,500 probably doesn't seem like too much to some of you, but being a small business owner, he missed out on, he's guessing at least $1,500 or more on sales yesterday because people were parking in his parking lot, blocking his parking lot. He said there was even a few, which amazed me, fair board members parking in his parking lot and then walking over to the Elks because after an after party, and taking up spots that he could had business. So, like I say, I don't know who we need to talk with, or for sure JB or whatever, but we need to, for next year, we need to be proactive. And he said it was just a total mess there and shut down his business. He even had extra staff there to take on the big crowds and couldn't do it. So that being, now we got another event coming up. The WJFL is having that event in the middle of September, and he said last year he had the same problem with not enough parking, and people were overflowing and parking in his parking spot, in his parking lot, his private lot that that feeds his family. So, what can we do for the small business owner to help him out with this? Is this something that we need to talk with the board, with WJFL, and have somebody from their staff man his parking lot, or I guess kind of looking for some answers or directions, or
Well, I would say that's where you could start. I think start with WJFL and ask them to see what and bring those concerns up. It's their event. Like I said, the only other thing I think is, I don't think the police get called that often to do that, but for towing a car that's not a customer, it's always within the right of that property owner to go ahead and request that if they want to. With regards to the fair parade, I think city staff had minimal to do with that. The only thing we had to do with was review it just like we always do for anything else where we shut down traffic and just make sure that it's a safe event, not the logistics of where it begins and ends. So, but that way, I would just, bring those concerns to the chamber. I can certainly pass those on and let her know that you brought them up, but you might want to have a direct conversation with her about that.
I mean, isn't this, Aaron, isn't he part of
Aaron,
Griesheimer, isn't he part of, with the chamber, like,
well, he gets part of his salary paid,
Yeah,
but he
but
does
nothing-
economic development for industry. He doesn't get into the
Okay,
party planning, let's just call it that.
I'm not saying a party planning, I was just saying well, I thought he was our representative like, Sal was or whatever through the chamber one
That's,
time,
that,
so.
that position's never been the one that reports back problems to the
Right.
chamber. I mean, we
Okay.
have we're
Okay, well then,
close enough with them.
can we address that? and
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe talk to them about
I can
next
let
year?
JV know that you brought it up and that we had a
Yeah.
business owner. If that business owner hasn't passed that on to the chamber, I'll be happy to go ahead and do that. But again, we look at the safety event, not where it begins and ends.
Right. And what would be our next step for these residents that brought this forward with this erosion off of Emily Lane? What can be our next step with that?
We probably need to talk about that in closed session.
Okay. All right. I just want them to know that this isn't a dead issue, and I know Jeff is, this is the first I've ever heard of it, but I just don't want them to think it fell on deaf ears, deaf ears, sorry. So we don't need any resident thinking they're out there alone, so, thank you.
Other comments?
It's Fair Week, it's baseball tournament, it's in, welcome everyone to Washington. Put your best face on, we got a lot of people coming to town.
Chad, hey, hang around for you, would you, see,
have
do
an
you know anybody
executive.
on that board for football? Is he still
City
on there?
Attorney's Report, public
can get
vote
you
on
this.
whether or not to
Okay.
hold a closed
you
meeting to discuss personnel, legal, and real estate matters pursuant to section 610.021 RSMO 2000. Just bear with me a minute. Bear,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Packey,
Yes.
Holtmeyer,
Aye.
Hepsel,
Yes.
Heidrich,
Aye.
Coulter.
Yes.
Okay, folks, thanks. We're in executive session.